Hey everyone, it is super hot in the UK right now and I'm struggling. I'm so glad I'm not working today because I think I would have passed out at work. Anyway, I thought, because it's been a couple of weeks since Black Widow, most people have seen it now, and if you haven't, this video will contain spoilers, so there's your official warning. I thought we would go through the family dynamics in Black Widow and how I think Alexi truly did miss his girls, and how Melina is a bit darker than she seems, and how Yelena is a boss-ass bitch. I think we all know that, but just in case. So, family dynamics typically in the MCU are rough. Loki and Thor, Gamora and Nebula. The only really good-ish ones have been like Wanda and Pietro, but then, you know, R.I.P. Pietro. So, when we get a good family dynamic or a loving relationship, it seems to end horribly. That's like the model of MCU at the moment. Natasha obviously dies in Endgame, so when we finally get to see her and Yelena bond and have an actual sisterly relationship, it goes down the drain. Thanks, MCU. In the film, at the start we see a young Natasha, a young Yelena, Melina and Alexi. Typical American family, obviously they're pretending to be. We also see that Melina cares a lot for the girls and is even apologetic to Nat when it's time to take it back to the Red Room. Obviously she has gone through this, she knows what it's like, she knows what is coming for Natasha and even for little Yelena. She still does it though, so does Alexi, so points taken away. But you can see regret in her face. Later on though, when we meet her with the pigs, I think she's hardened up so much that she doesn't care. I think there is ulterior motives for her helping the girls. I think we're going to see her in the MCU more. And I don't think it was because she felt motherly towards them. At one point in her life she did. This was her only opportunity to really have children. You don't actually know if she's done this before or after, if she's had a fake family in America. So, with Melina, she's a bit sketchy, I think. I think she did truly love the girls when they were younger. Like I said, she was apologetic to send Nat there and also Yelena. And she did give them some tough advice when they thought she was dying. So I think she did love them in her own way, but once she lost them, she forgot about them. She was probably trained to do that, to be fair, and I'm not sure about Melina. She basically helped create the weapons and the mind control that was used on her daughter, so great parenting. No, I'm not sure about her. I think she's a bit sketchy. Like I said, I think at one point she did love the girls, but she didn't realise she'd ever see them again, so she's kind of adapted. Do you know what I mean? She's become higher up in the Red Room. She even states that she went through the program in 3 separate times, I believe, so maybe this was her way of hardening herself so she didn't have to go through it again. Alexi. Now, Alexi is a tough one. We see that when he brings the girls back to Cuba, he is more interested in becoming the Red Guardian again and getting his old suit back and becoming this popular Russian figure than the 2 girls he raised for 3 years. He even kind of calms Nat down enough for them to take her, and we see in the future that he's even proud of them for being these killers and assassins, and that he truly believes that he did what was right for Russia, and that giving these girls over to this horrible room was what was right. He was obviously brainwashed. He's obviously not the brightest of people out there, so it's pretty easy just to get in his head and go, oh, we'll give you the super soldier serum or watered down version if you do this, and you'll be this great Russian hero and you'll fight Captain America. He was in it for the glory, essentially. I believe that once he realised that Dreykov is a dick and betrayed him and sent him to jail, he felt some empathy for his girls. He has tattoos. There's even a bit that someone's translated where on his shoulder it actually says Natasha and Yelena. So in his own way he loved the girls, And it's actually shown later on in the movie when he remembers Yelena's favourite song. You've got to remember, they were only together for 3 years. It is 20 years later. He still remembers her favourite song. Because of Nat's death, I know that Yelena is on the hunt for Hawkeye. I actually think Alexi might be as well. I think he did, like, the times he was trying to apologise to her, I think he did truly love his girls, even loved Melina at one point. So I believe that he'd also want revenge for his daughter. I also hope he's in Yelena's life a bit more. I just imagine him coming around to her like flat or whatever and just being a nuisance because he's just trying to be a dad, you know? But yeah, I imagine we'll see more of Alexi. I feel like he's going to want some type of revenge for Natasha's death. Maybe he'll be in Yelena's life some more. And like I said, I truly believe he did love the girls. He does love the girls. He had their names tattooed on him. I know that's not proof of love, but it's proof that he remembers them and acknowledges them. Because 3 years, 20 years later, that's a big commitment to have, you know? So we've done mum and dad. Sketchy mum, weirdly loving Russian dad. Let's move on to the sisters. The sisterly dynamic in this film was amazing. Yelena, being the youngest, was always seeking validation from her big sister, even after not seeing her for years and years and years, which we see in the vest scene where she was just trying to be like, yeah, these has pockets. And Natasha was like, yeah, it's as cool as a vest. But we see that she generally is chuffed when Natasha acknowledges that it's a cool vest. Being a younger sister myself, I understand the need to always impress your older siblings, and I think we see that in Yelena. She genuinely wants to be sisters with Nat. Like she said, those 3 years of her life was the best, and it meant nothing to everyone else, but it meant something to her. She truly, truly loved her mum, her dad, and her big sister, and when they meet again, I can just imagine well, maybe not for Alexi and Melina, but for Natasha, the kind of happiness of meeting this figure that you've always looked up to, and you still have the pictures from the photo booth, and it's this whole thing. And yeah, Natasha and Yelena. Natasha is the big overprotective sister. She, even after 20 years, stayed away from Yelena to keep her safe. She didn't know she was in the Red Room. If she did, I'm sure she would have broke her out. But she believed that staying away from her would keep her safe. Obviously they didn't, but in Natasha's mind it did. We even see that Natasha is proud of her sister. I just love the dynamic of this family. Like I said, it is messed up, it is an MCU family, but I love the fact that Yelena is so enamoured with her older sister. She looks up to her even after not seeing her for 20 years. Alexi truly did love the girls, I believe, and I'd love to see him interact more with Yelena and maybe grieve for Natasha. Melina is a weird one. I definitely think she had ulterior motives for bringing down the Red Room, but then when you think about it, she's gone through that programming 3 separate times. She had a family at one point that was ripped away from her. So was this all to harden herself back up after losing that? And Yelena, she kept Alexi's costume, which is strange. So maybe she did love them, and like I said, she's hardening herself back up because she didn't expect to see them again. She even named one of her pigs Alexi. Maybe in some twisted way she designed the programming that takes away free will to make it easier on the girls. I immediately don't think I'm right there, but they don't completely understand what they're doing, whereas with Natasha's class, I guess, they did. They knew everything. So was it her way of trying to subconsciously help these kids, or was it just her trying to get higher up into the Red Room? She destroyed the base, which had all of her details in it because she designed it. I just think there's something shady about her. It also makes sense that Yelena would cling to these 3 years. These were her 3 good years of her life, and you'd constantly remember the good times when you were in a horrible place. So it makes sense that she'd cling to these and kind of hope it was semi-real for the others as well. So that is it. All over the place video, check. Yeah, there's a lot of dysfunctional families in the MCU. I don't know if I should do some videos on some of the others. Loki on Thor. I want to maybe do a video on Kid Loki. If you haven't seen Loki yet, I won't tell you the spoilers, but he's interesting. So maybe I'll do a video there. But I don't know. Hawkeye's family is a weird one because we don't really see anything dysfunctional, but I don't know enough about them. And he is, you know, a superhero. And he was on the run at one point. And he was under house arrest. So I'm just going to stay with dysfunctional. Also, he did kill a lot of people, so dysfunctional. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe and click that bell if you want to be notified when I upload. Comment down below what you thought. What do you think of the Black Widow film? I loved it. I thought the opening was very chilling, and it was very, it set the scene. It showed us a lot that they didn't have time to show us, basically, and I enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about the family. Do you agree? Do you think Melina's sketchy? Do you think Alexi and Yelena truly did love the family? Let me know. I just think it's a bit strange that you'd have the tattoo if you didn't in some way have affection towards the 2 girls, because it didn't say Melina, Yelena and Natasha, it just said Natasha and Yelena. So I hope you're all staying safe out there, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.